So I was fortunate enough to be here in June. I shared about infertility and a little bit about the kind of the education aspect of what it's like to go through that. And if you haven't seen it, it's on the Voice Story YouTube page. And during that talk, I was wearing a very loud shirt. And the reason for that shirt was because it had pineapples, and pineapples sort of the infertility fruit. So you say, well, why do you show up in a gray and black shirt today? It's actually symbolic because today is Pregnancy and Infancy Loss Day. So it's October 15th. And for those of us going through infertility, it's a place where it actually merges with people that aren't going through infertility that may have lost a baby. So miscarriage is something that happens in 1 in 4 people. So you don't have to be going through infertility to experience loss. And unfortunately, it's been a part of our journey. So this day hits pretty hard as far as that piece goes. But as far as infertility goes, there's a bit of a celebration in the sense that we've finally made it. We finally made it to mainstream. Is anyone in here watch This Is Us? Yeah. So for those that haven't, you just saved yourself crying yourself to sleep at night. So, but This Is Us is actually showing some of the aspects of infertility. So in season 2, they actually lost the baby, so they could be celebrating that day today. So I should say. What is that? Spoiler alert, thank you, yeah. So the season 3 opener is basically Kate and Toby that are going to this infertility doctor, and they're asking to, they're ready to go through this process. So they're at the doctor's and they're waiting to find out the results and when they can start and all this good stuff. And the doctor says, I'm sorry, but there's only a 10% chance, and we're not going to take the risk, liability-wise, your weight, all these different things, and our partners have just decided we're not going to go through with that. So they're trying to convince this doctor that they've already looked at all the risks, and they've looked at the financial component of it, and they're ready to do this, so let's just move ahead, and they don't. The emotional journey that is with infertility doesn't really match the science. You don't necessarily think of emotion when you think of science. And this is a place where they truly do meet. So again, spoiler alert. At the end of that show, they get the phone call from the doctor saying, will you come meet with us again? And the doctor basically explains to them that the reason that she got into infertility, and you find this thread amongst a lot of the practitioners, that the reason they get into it is for that 10%. It's for that aspect of hope. A lot of them have experienced elements of it themselves, and so now they're looking to pass on that dream to others. And so when I talk about the connection between emotion and science, it never really occurred to me until you deal with how much loss there was in the creation of life. There's so much loss and death that can be involved, and not just death of a child or a miscarriage, but death of a dream. And it took me a long time as a partner to understand why for the first year I would walk into the bedroom and see my partner, ironically enough, in a fetal position crying because she got her period. And a period is something for women that they start getting kind of like that double digits, like the early, maybe mid double digits. So all of the life, in the 20s, you're probably hoping that you get that, right? You're like, thank goodness that I got my period and continue on with life. But when you're trying, getting your period is a sign of death, truly, that you did not achieve your goal of getting a baby. And so that cycle of, and really the difference between people that are traditionally baby making, right? You have your green week, so you have your window of like 3 to 4 days, although I really think it's like probably a couple hours, just based on my experience. It's like it's a very small time where that miracle can happen. But you'd go there, and then the next thing you know is you're waiting to see, did you get your period, right? And so in the normal scheme of things, you basically have 2 sort of time frames that you're paying attention to. When should we do it, and did it work? That was it. In the world of infertility, there's all these micro deaths. There's all these micro moments that take you high and take you low. So we just finished our 3rd round, right? So we just finished our 3rd round, like literally 2 weeks ago. And that process was, great news of the drugs working and follicles being there and eggs being there, and we can retrieve this, and this many matured, this many embryos created. So all of those are kind of like this uplifting piece of, oh my goodness, this could happen, and we could freeze some and all that. And then every second day getting information that no, you got 13, then you have 7, then you have 5, and you transfer 2, and the rest aren't viable. You're not freezing anything. So you're truly putting all your eggs in one basket, if that basket was a uterus, and you wait. And so in the world of infertility, there's all these acronyms, and one of them is the W2WW, which is the 2-week wait. And this period of time, again, from an emotional scale for women, is something that I've never seen before in my life. I realized that I've made a mistake a long time ago when I didn't invest in pea sticks. If I would have invested in pea sticks, I wouldn't be standing on the stage right now because I'd be off on a vacation somewhere. This process of infertility drives people crazy. They start peeing on sticks, even though you're not going to find out for like 12 days. They start on like day 5. And in these forums and on these chat groups, they're sitting there and saying, anyone ever get results on day 5? And they'll show these pea sticks, day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8, like all the way through to day 12. And like my partner and I will look at these and they'll be like, I think you're pregnant. And we're looking going, what is going on? Like, we're not seeing any other lines going on here. Like there's one line and that's it. So I don't know what you're seeing, and that's an aspect that kind of is really interesting to this world, but it speaks to the level of hope that these people are carrying for this dream. And we carry it as well. So we are unsuccessful in our 3rd attempt. So that's a situation where you regroup. I literally drove around for 2 days with a tear in my left eye, and occasionally it would fall, and immediately it would be back. And I got home on a Friday, and my partner said to me, what are you doing, or what do you want to do? And I just told her, I want to stop pretending that I'm okay, because it's painful, and you need to take that time and make sure that you recover and make your choices and move on from there. So similar to my last talk, I came up with another lovely acronym. So I will leave you with it, because if I can see it, I'll leave you with it. So before that, there's a term in the infertility world called the rainbow baby. And I'm not sure exactly where it comes from, other than the fact of if you get to the end of the rainbow, there's the prize, the pot of gold. So that could be the baby in this case. The acronym I've come up with starts with H, and H is for honor, in honoring yourself, your partner, each other as a couple, and the true miracle of life. It's called that for a reason. It truly is a miracle. O is for options. It doesn't always feel like it, but you do have options. In how we deal with things and how we feel about results and the choices that we make afterwards. It's okay to feel upset when you hear that a 14-year-old girl got pregnant and you've been trying for 3 years or 6 years or whatever the journey is for you. It's okay to be frustrated with that, but be kind to yourself. You know, I know that we've never met, but if you're on this journey, there's one thing that I do know is you're doing everything that you can to make this happen. So believe that and honor that too. P is for protect, as in protect yourself. And no, I'm not talking about condoms, although I've thought about putting a pin in one, right? And then using it, almost like a reverse Murphy's Law sort of thing, right? Where it's like you sort of trick it that you don't really want one anymore, and then you get one. So the P is for protecting yourself and your partner from those that might not really understand, right? Or might eat away at you or your patience or your energy or your hope. And E is for exercise. And this is exercising your brain for information without turning into an internet doctor, because that is something that can happen. Turn to your community by reaching out, getting information, asking for support when needed. Not all the time, but there's times where they may have gone through something. You may have gone through a failed test or an uncertain situation. So exercise your hope muscle. Like at the gym, there will be bad days, there'll be fails, there'll be no reps. But by working on your hope muscle, it will become stronger, and you will need all the strength you can to make it to the other side of the rainbow. Thank you.